with like 7 pictures, you know, pieces of art. What are you doing with all this? She said, Tony, no, our walls are too bare. I want to put 2 over there, 1 here, and 2 there, and another one over. And she, you know, she's going through this thing. I said, you know, I don't see any reason why we have to have more stuff on the wall. It looks okay to me. She says, no, we got to do this. She says, I have to run back to the store and pick up some food for tonight. She comes home, and I am so proud. I said, Sue, come over. You're not going to believe this. She said, what? I said, look, I put all 7 up. She said, Tony, what did you do? I said, I put them up. She said, you did it all wrong. I said, Sue, you said 2 there, 1 there, 1 there, 2 there. I put them just where you wanted. She said, no, and they're crooked, too. I said, they are not crooked. No way. And we get into this whole thing about if it's crooked. She goes in, pulls out one of these, what do they call them? The levels. All right? So a little piece of the bubble's outside of the line. I mean, just a little piece. I thought it was pretty good getting that close without using a level. And she said, look, it's not, and we have to go through every single one, do these. It took a whole day. Now, how could something like this take a whole day? It took me 15 minutes to put 7 up. But that's what happens. That's what happens. When it comes to rules, indirect people follow rules according to the letter of the law. Direct people follow rules according to the spirit of their interpretation. How about gray areas? When there's a gray area, it doesn't quite say whether you can or you can't. Whenever an indirect person comes across a gray area, they usually go to somebody in authority and ask permission. You know, it doesn't say whether I can do this or not. This is what I'd like to do. Is it okay? They're looking for the blessing. Is it okay? Can I do it? Whereas the direct person, when they find a gray area, which of course they call their window of opportunity, their attitude is, I'm not going to ask. If I ask and I hear no, I can't do it. If I don't ask, I didn't hear no, could be yes. I'm just going to go do it. My philosophy is this. It's easier to beg forgiveness than it is to seek permission. So now the question becomes, what letter would you pick for yourself? So what I'd like you to do is pick a letter for yourself that you believe reflects your pattern of behavior most of the time with most people. So pick a letter. Does everybody have a letter and a number? Okay. Now what I'm going to do is build the model. I have 3 objectives in this section of the program. 3 objectives. Number 1, how do you size up somebody through the simple process of elimination? 2 decisions, ladies and gentlemen. Is the person more open or guarded? Process of elimination. Is the person more direct or indirect? Process of elimination. Second objective, understanding the 4 basic patterns of behavior. What are they? How do they act? What's their likes, dislikes, fears, goals, the ways they make decisions, etc. And then the third and most critical, once you can size somebody up, understand their style, what do you do about it? And this is where you have sort of the golden key. Because I guarantee you, and I've taught this concept. This year actually is 30 years that I've been teaching, researching, and writing about this concept. And as you can imagine, in 30 years, I have thousands of testimonial letters, and I can tell you, in terms of sales management, students in school getting better grades, marriages being improved or saved, it works. But it only works if you take it out of here and use it. So, let's see how this audience divides among the 4 basic styles. How many of you chose as your number a 1 or a 2, your letter, a C or a D? Can I see your hands, please? 1 or a 2 combined with a C or a D. Your style is what we call the director. I'll tell you a little bit about yourself in a second. Directors. How many of you chose as your number a 3 or a 4, but a C or a D as your letter? Let me see your hands. Socializers, party on. How about a 3 or a 4, but an A or a B? Can I see your hands, please? Our relators. Our relators. Hi, how you doing? Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. And finally, a 1 or a 2 combined with an A or a B. Can I see your hands, please? Are thinkers. Now, they raise their hands a little slower because all the facts are not in yet. They're still analyzing this. Jury's out on this one. So there are 4 basic styles: directors, thinkers, relators, socializers. So what I'd like to do is tell you a little bit about each style. I'm going to do sort of a CNN summary here, and then I'll get into some more depth on each one. Let's start with the directors. Where are my directors? One more time. Can I see your hands, please? Directors. Okay. Directors, their key style, their key desire is results, bottom line. Their motto, I want it done right, I want it done now, or better yet, I want it done when? Yesterday. They're in a hurry for everything, juggling a lot of things at the same time and doing them well. If there's any style that is great, natural, in terms of being multitasking, it is the directors. They're great delegators. They're great administrators. They work best under pressure, under deadlines, and they play to win. Another motto for directors: winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. They do not play games for funsies. Well, let's just play and have fun. Well, let's not keep score. We don't need score. You know, they always want to know who's winning. Because they work so well under pressure and they're so multitasking oriented, I would think one of their great jobs would be a short order cook in a roadside diner, because they can handle anything thrown at them. Any order, no problem whatsoever. I will tell you this: of all 4 styles, the directors are the weakest listeners. I'm going to have to repeat that for them. They are the weakest listeners. But there's a reason. They don't have time, and they already know the answer. Why listen? So those are the directors. We'll get in more depth in just a little while. Let's talk a little bit about socializers. Where are my socializers? Right? Their key desire: fun, excitement, applause, visibility, recognition. And as a result, they talk a lot about their favorite subject: themselves. Generally speaking, socializers are generally speaking. They have the gift of gab, the power of persuasion. They have the ability to get other people more excited about their ideas than even they are themselves. They are the only group who could win an argument not knowing what they're talking about. They're positive thinkers. They have a sunny disposition. They do not like negativity or negative thinkers. They don't like negative people. And I will tell you, of all 4 styles, they pay the least attention to detail. Hey, as long as it's close, what does it matter? In the ballpark, best guesstimate. You know, you can ask a thinker. Ask a thinker, how much do you earn? Thinker might say $33,335.42. Ask a socializer, how much you earn? They say around $50,000, even though they earn $33,300. I have the stereotypical New York City Italian mother. You get a picture of what they're like? I mean, classic. My mother, whenever she's out, she strikes up conversations with everybody, anybody, whether she's met them or not, knows them or not, doesn't matter what they look like. My mother talks to people. And she'll know everything about a person in 15 minutes. Everything. Because she asks very personal questions. Now, I'll tell you what really is interesting when I take her to a restaurant. That is something you need to experience. Because we go in a restaurant, and as we're being led to the table, my mother is saying stuff to everybody at these other tables who she does not know. Hey, how you doing? I hope you're enjoying yourself. Hey, that looks good. She'll just talk to people. And last time, she does this all the time, by the way. She stopped at a table, and she said, what are you eating? She said, are you here for some special occasion, or are you just going out to eat? The person said, I'm here for my birthday. She said, your birthday? How old are you? How old? 47. 47. Stand up. Stand up. She pulls up his glass and his spoon and bangs on it, gets everybody's attention and says, what's your first name?
Don.
Don is 47 today. Let's sing him happy birthday. Everybody's singing. Hey, sing! All right, so at the end of all this, she said, Don, sit down. Come on, what are you standing up for? She says, Don, introduce me to the woman you're with. You're?
Eileen.
Eileen. Hi, Eileen. Nice meeting you. Don, something was bothering me, and I wonder if you or Eileen can clarify this for me. Don, I noticed you had a wedding ring on, and Eileen, you didn't. Would one of you like to explain that to me? I've got time.
No, I only date married men.
So we eventually, you know, and it's me saying, Mom, come on, I'm hungry. So we sit down, we order our meal, we're eating our appetizer, we get our main entree, and another couple gets seated next to us. We're on our entree now. My mother hears the person at this other table asking the waiter about certain items on the menu, and one of the items happened to be veal scallopini. And she said, excuse me, sir, were you just asking about the veal scallopini? It's good. It's good. I ordered it. It's good. Not as good as I make it at home, but it's good. You know, I want you to have a good time tonight. Here, taste mine. Make sure you like it. And she makes the guy eat it off of her fork. Off of her fork. Oh, yeah. What, do you think I have germs? Eat it! By the way, if you were in that restaurant and my mother carried on a conversation like one of these, how many of you would have enjoyed it? Can I see your hands? All right, that's either Italians or socializers. How many would feel uncomfortable with what my mother was doing? Can I see your hands? Many more. That's interesting. Fact of the matter is, my mother doesn't care. She's going to come up to your table whether you like it or not. Point is, my mother, and I think this is a very crucial point, my mother loves people. She really does. She is incredibly outgoing, as you could tell, and she really believes that the way she acts with people is out of love. She is not trying, it's not even in her frame of reference that she would make somebody feel uncomfortable. She's thinking she's making people feel comfortable. But what she's doing is treating people according to the golden rule. She's treating people the way she would like to be treated, not realizing that in her desire to make people feel comfortable, she actually is having the opposite effect on many people and making them feel stressed and uncomfortable. So, let's go to the next style. Relators. Where are my relators? Relators. Their key desire, harmony, safety, security, close one-to-one relationships. Of all four styles, relators are the most people-oriented. Loyal, reliable team members, the glue that holds a team or a relationship together. I'll tell you this, you show me a marriage where one of the people is a relator, and I will show you a long marriage. Not necessarily happy, but long. They are incredibly loyal people. They do not like to rock the boat. They do not like pushy, aggressive people. So they have a tendency at times to go along with things, even when they don't want to, because they don't want to speak up and, you know, sort of rock the boat. Little things hurt their feelings. Now, they won't always tell you, they won't always show you. But when you hurt their feelings a little and you get out of their sight, you know, they pull out their little book, they turn to the page with your name on it, and add another check mark. Yeah. Thinkers. Where are my thinkers? Thinkers. Their key desire, order, accuracy, precision, perfection. Their motto, everything in its place and a place for everything. Their patron saint, Sergeant Joe Friday from Dragnet. Just the facts, ma'am, just the facts. They're the great planners, problem solvers, organizers. They're great at creating systems. They're highly inventive people. And of all four styles, they're the most intellectual. Michelangelo, Da Vinci, Einstein, thinkers. So I'll tell you this, without a doubt, without a hesitation, you want something done right, give it to a thinker. But if you want it done on time, think again. Thinkers procrastinate getting finished until it's perfect. Four basic styles, ladies and gentlemen. Directors, thinkers, relators, socializers. They do things differently. They have their unique strengths and weaknesses. Now, I can take almost any activity and show you how each style will perform that activity ever so slightly different from the other three. Let's take an activity that all of us probably engage in every single month. The monthly checking account statement comes in. The day it comes in, who will balance it that day to the penny, no matter how long it takes? The thinker. The day it comes in, the director. They never have time. They look for somebody. Roxanne, I don't have the time, the patience for this. I notice you do yours every month. Would you do mine? I'll give you $20. 25 max. They try to delegate it to people. The day it comes in, the relator waits for that evening to balance it as a family bonding experience. Socializer, the day it comes in, they look at it. What is this? Throw it in a box, in a drawer. How can I be overdrawn? I still have checks left. Every style, as I said, every style has their inherent strengths and weaknesses. But here's an interesting perspective about weakness. Sometimes when you take a strength and use it too much, it actually can, in fact, become a weakness. I call it overextension of strengths. So, with directors, they tend to control too much. Their strength is taking control, taking the lead. But sometimes they over-control and turn people off. Thinkers, they question too much. And you start wondering, don't you trust me? You know, they get into all these minute questions. Relators, they agree too much. Socializers, they talk too much. Let's go even further. Management 101 basically says there are four basic skills every good manager of people, whether it's a manager of people in a business, even a manager of people in your own household, you should have four basic strengths. Four basic functions of management. Here's the irony. Each style masters one of those four strengths better than any other style. For instance, with directors, their mastery is controlling people, situations, processes. Thinkers, it's planning. They're the great planners. Relators, it's organizing, getting things all set up, organized, in the right order. And socializers, it's motivating people, getting people off the dime, motivated to want to do things. So, if you were putting a team together, what styles would you put on that team? All four. All four. Here's the unfortunate thing. Many businesses tend to hire people in the likeness of other people who are in the company. And it's a problem. I even did that. I had myself, my marketing person, and my secretary, all three of us, same style, socializers. We had a great time. How do they listen? Each style listens differently. With directors, they're very purposeful. If you're talking about something that they're interested in, they are all ears. And when you stop talking about something of interest to them, they are out of there. They actually will get up and walk out. They'll do other things. Thinkers are very analytical. Well, wait a second. A little while ago, you said this. Now you're saying that. Which is it? Relators are very empathic. How does that feel? I can't believe that happened. And what did you do? They get as much or more emotional about issues as you do. And socializers, they're very fickle. You know, 1 second they're like this, no, get out of here! When did... And then another minute they're like this. No, I'm listening. They're in and out, whether it's purposeful or not. What do they fear? This is important to understand, because this turns them off. Directors fear being taken advantage of. As soon as they feel that you are taking advantage of them, you are crossed off their list. That is it. You're done. Thinkers, criticizing their effort. They do not like criticism. Sudden changes for the relators. They don't like a lot of big sudden change. So what you have to do is break it up over a period of time. You know, a little bit each day. And socializers, they do not like rejection, especially social rejection or ostracism, not being considered part of the group, being, you know, pushed out of a group. They do not like that. That's big, big, big fears. How they set goals. This is crucial. And this is something that you should focus on, how each of these styles set goals. One more time, how many of you have children? This is important also, understanding if you have more than one child, knowing how to work through this with them, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, how they set goals. Sometimes we ask our children to set goals, or we help them set goals by whose yardstick? Our own. We have to understand that they do things differently. So, with directors, they favor goals that are productive and inexpensive. And typically, directors favor a single overriding goal. They like to work on one goal. Let me achieve it, then I'll move on to another. They don't like a whole list of goals. One big one. Thinkers, they favor goals that promote growth, accuracy, quality. Relators, goals that open opportunities for everybody involved, not just for themselves. They like, you know, the whole group. Everybody has to be involved in the goal. And socializers, loosely defined goals. They don't want to be tied down, and they often change. No, I want to do that. How about that? No, that's better. That. How they make decisions. Now, this is crucial in selling, isn't it? Directors, decisive. What they want, give them 2 to 3 options with brief supporting analysis, and then who makes the decision? They do. Now, I realize that in selling, we have all of these different techniques of closing, etc., and one is called the assumptive close, where you are, or a forced choice close, where you're basically forcing the close or a decision on somebody. They'll kick you out. It will not work with them. I mean, a single closing technique will not work on all 4 styles, I will tell you that. They like options with analysis, and they make the decision. Thinkers, they're very analytical. Give me all of my options, not 2 or 3. If there's 5, if there's 7, I want all the options. And then I'm going to do an entire Ben Franklin balance sheet of pros and cons, analyze each one, and then the logic of the situation will dictate which is the best option. No emotion comes into this. It's pretty clear, black and white. Relators, collaborative. How many people are going to be affected by this decision? Well, let's get all of them here and find out how they feel about it. And let's make sure everybody's on the same page. And socializers are spontaneous. If it looks good, feels good, smells good, let's do it. But I will tell you this. You ever hear the saying that the easiest people to sell are salespeople? And one of the reasons is most salespeople, the majority of salespeople, are socializers. And it's not that salespeople are the easiest to sell. That actually is not accurate. Socializers are the easiest to sell. But here's the problem with socializers. They frequently buy before they're sold. Now let that sink in. They buy before they're sold. And when people buy before they're sold, what does it lead to? Buyer's remorse. Bringing things back, sending things back. Let's talk about compatibility. Which styles get along best and which styles have the most difficulty getting along? What would you think? I think everybody has different opinions here. All right, here's two quotes. I want you to finish them for me. Opposites. Birds of a feather. Which one is more accurate? All right, so we have two different opinions here. Both are accurate, but it depends on the situation. So let's talk about work, working on a task, a goal. Opposites attract. And why is that? At work,